Good morning, everyone, and good evening, wherever you are. Um, we realize for some of you, it's going to be a late night. This is a really, really important webinar. We're talking about fee payment, bill paying, and we're going to go a little bit of budgeting and making sure that you are ready for whatever happens when you arrive if credit cards and things don't work. So what we are going to do is first start with our introductions about staff who's here in the office. We have one person out this week. I'm going to start with what I see on my screen. So Brian, you're the first one. And then if you can choose the next person to introduce themselves, we can go that way.
Yeah, I can go first. Hey, chat. My name is Brian. I'm the international student recruiter here at MTSU, and I'm here to help answer all of your questions on your way in, as well as once you're getting settled and such. So, yeah, feel free to stop by once you're here. Can't wait to say hi in person. So, on to you, Matthew.
Yeah, my name is Matthew Wells. I am the marketer and event coordinator for the office. On to Toy.
I don't think she heard you. Who did you say, Matthew?
Toy.
Toy. Toy, can you hear us? Victoria, why don't you go and we'll get Toy, and she must be having trouble.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Victoria Rajavongs. I am the undergraduate transcript analyst. I am here to review all your documents before admissions and also help answer any questions you might have about your application requirements. Uh, should we try Miss Toy again?
Yes, guys, I'm sorry. My sound was not working and I had to reconfigure some things. So thank you for your patience. But I am Toy Scott. I'm the international specialist. You've probably been communicating with me regarding your I-20. If you need additional documents, once you arrive on campus, I'll be working with you regarding employment, getting your social security number, all those kinds of things. Welcome to MTSU.
And Rima, you want to go?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Rima and I'm the recruitment manager for South Asia region. So if you have any queries, questions, you can always come back to me. City again to you.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Felicia. Felicia Greiner is one of our analysts. She primarily works with the graduate students. So if you're a graduate student, I'm sure you've communicated with Felicia. If not, then she has processed your application. We have one more person on vacation this week, John Swalford, our associate director. He handles a lot of our agent communications. He also handles the International Merit Scholarship. So you may have been communicating with him in one capacity or another. And my name is Cindy Havara. I am the Director of International Enrollment Management here at MTSU. We are very excited you're here. We're hoping that if you're here in this webinar, you have a visa, you're really excited, and your next step is to get registered for classes and then hopefully pay your bills. So this one may be a little bit early for some of you. I think we're going to go through some of in the slides that will say that for now, your bills are not visible. They will be on your pipeline. So we're going to go ahead and get started because if I give you too much of an introduction, I'm going to give the presentation away. Okay, there we go. All right, some of the things we're going to talk about and go into a little bit more depth are important dates. And so these are all on the website or they're in the registration guide. So we do have this information on the website. The installment plan, some of you have been asking about, or you will ask us about as you get your bills come live. Your confirmation of registration, that's a process you need to follow. Registration dates you need to know, where to find the information, and the semester date. So all of this is on the website. If you know where to look, and if you have not been out and investigated the MTSU website or your program's homepage, please do that before you come. There's so much information out there. So again, we repeat this, I believe, every webinar we have. If you are coming to MTSU and you are in the process and you have not registered or activated your accounts, your student accounts, either your email or your pipeline, you need to do that immediately. You are missing out on valuable emails and valuable information that's communicated through only your MTSU email. So once you are in the process and you're pretty well down for the process, and when you arrive, the university will only communicate with your MTSU email. They will not communicate with your personal email. So if you're not in the habit of checking your MTSU email, you need to get into the habit of checking that and learning to understand what emails I really need to pay attention to and what ones do not really apply to me. You need to be able to do that. You will get lots and lots and lots of email from the university. So some of our dates. The bills go live if you have registered for classes before July 11th. Then your tuition bill will be available on July 11th. That's the first day they're going to be available. So that's next week. So some of you who have registered, you will have a tuition bill on July 11th. Now, the first deadline for paying your tuition is going to be August 11th, and there are certain guidelines which we're going to get into in a minute. The next important date is August 18th. This is what we call Purge Day. Purge means to disable, to do away with. So Purge Day simply means that your schedule is dropped. If you have registered for classes, let's say in June, or the 1st of July, and you did not pay your tuition bill by the 11th of August, then on the 18th, you will not have a schedule. Or I think that's a false purge. They will say you're going to lose your schedule. You may or may not. On August 19th, you're going to be able to re-register for the classes that were dropped. Okay, so Purge Day means your class schedules are dropped. You didn't pay your fee. The university then understands that to mean you are not coming, and they will drop all of the courses. This allows other students to register for the courses if they were full. If your classes are dropped because you did not pay your bill, on the 19th at midnight, you have an opportunity to go back and re-register for those classes. Now, you must make sure that this only can happen if the class still has room available. It is not a guarantee. So this is really important. By August 31st, you can no longer drop or add a class. This is after 1 full week of classes. So that's the last day to drop and add a class without a fee. So this is a time when you go to one class and you say, yeah, this is not for me, or I don't need this, I need a higher level or a lower level, whatever your case may be. After August 31st, if you do that, you will pay a fee. August 25th is the first day of classes. We all know that. That's the first day on your I-20. The late registration fee begins on August 25th. So if you have not registered, you will pay a fee when you register after the August 25th. So understand that if you come late and you are taking your placement test the week before, and you have not been able to meet with your advisor by the first day of classes, you will pay a late fee. This is why we offer orientation, the New Blue orientation, a chance for you to meet your advisors, take the placement test. We offer that early so you can come and have your fees paid and have your classes registered, so we're not dealing with any late fees. Soon after we start, September 1st is what we call Labor Day. That's a national holiday. The university is closed. October 11th to the 14th is fall break. The university, there's no classes. The university is open. Our office is open, but there are no classes. November 27th, 28th, and 29th is a Thanksgiving holiday. The whole university is closed, I believe. And then December 11th is the last day of the term. So graduation usually happens a day or two after this, but when we talk about the last day of the term, we're talking about December 11th, not the graduation date. So these dates are all out there on the website. Some of them are on the financial page where you find all your bill paying information. Some of them are on the general calendar. If you go under the A's for academic calendar, you'll find the information for the days, the important days, when you can register, when you cannot, when is fall break. Let your parents know about these dates. Do let your parents know when the term ends if you're traveling. So as we get closer to the end of the term and when we talk about international orientation, we'll go through the processes you need to follow if you're going home for the winter holidays. So the dates that you pay your tuition, your deadline is based on when you registered for classes. So if most of you have not registered, April 7th is what we call priority registration. So our returning students are able to register for fall in April. So if you registered for your classes between April 7th and August 11th, your August 11th is your deadline to pay. So you have to keep this in mind. If you register for classes the beginning of August, 10 days later, you're going to have a fee payment deadline. If you register from the 15th of August to the 18th, then August 18th is your last day to pay. Okay. And if you register after that until August 31st, you have to pay by September 2nd. But do know if you register after the 25th, you will pay a late fee. If you haven't registered by this date, all your classes will be purged. After this date, it's a little bit more complicated to get those classes added back onto your schedule. You need to go class by class and talk to the professor and see if he has room for you to join. So if at all possible, make plans to pay your fee, your tuition fee, by these deadline dates. That's why we have this webinar, so you are fully aware when your tuition is going to be due. So the installment plan, this is really, really a nice thing. What they do is take your total tuition bill and divide it into 4 payments. So you're going to pay 25% on the first fee payment deadline. Now, they will divide it into 4. If you are over the age of 18, you can register for this through your pipeline. You have to do, again, there's a deadline. You can't do this on September 2nd. You have to be thinking about this. When your tuition bill comes live on your pipeline, you need to decide, do I want to pay it all or do I want to pay it in 4 equal payments? You need to register ahead of time for this. If you are under the age of 18, then you need a parent to do this for you because in America at 18, you're a legal adult and you're responsible for all payments and even debt that you occur. Yeah. So with the installment plan, one thing to do remember is if you are late with any payment, the first, the second, the third, or the fourth payment, if you're late, you will not be able to enroll again the following year. So this is a benefit the university gives you, but if you abuse the benefit, if you don't pay, you will have a late fee, but you will also not be able to register for the installment plan the following year. Okay, if you would withdraw from the university before you finish paying for your 4th or 3rd installment, you are still responsible to pay the tuition bill. If you transfer, you will not get transcripts because you have to pay whatever you owe the university before you are able to get your transcripts or transfer or any of that. So again, there's a $50 fee added to that first payment. After that, it's 4 equal payments, whatever's left on your tuition bill. For international payments, we do have 2 options for you to pay from home or have your parents pay from home. Flywire and Pay My Tuition are both services. They have several different languages that they are supporting. I believe Flywire has offices around the world where you can actually talk to somebody in your own language in country. They are worldwide. They attend all of the conferences that we go to, so they are reputable. We trust them. Otherwise, the university would not have them on the website. There is a page dedicated to international payments on the website. Again, I encourage you to go out and look at that page, read through the information, show the information to mom and dad so they are also aware of this is available and they can navigate. So confirming your registration, this is going to be done through Pipeline. If you are not sure about any of these steps, please reach out to your academic advisor. This is what they're there for. They're there to help you through the registration process. But you must confirm after you've registered, you must confirm that you're going to be attending. If you never confirm your classes, it's like, yes, I registered, but I don't intend on coming, and it won't be followed through. Okay, you'll get here and your classes will have been purged because you did not understand that I have to confirm, I have to pay my fees, and all of this is done through a pipeline. So if you don't do this, if you don't confirm, if you don't pay your fees, then your schedule will be dropped. And getting them back can be complicated depending on when you decide you're going to put your classes back on your schedule. So if your classes are purged, you will hear us talk about purge day. It's a purge day. Your schedule will be purged. What means is your schedule is going to be dropped. So on the 18th, as of 6 p.m., you are no longer able to register. Everything shuts down, and then the schedules are dropped. Bills are returned to zero. Then around midnight, it will reopen. And so now you can attempt to re-register for the classes. But again, as I said before, if the class is now full, you simply won't be able to register. So this is risky. Students do go through this repeatedly. They have their schedules dropped, and then we guide them. You can go back in at midnight or 12:01 or as soon as it opens, re-register for those classes. If you're lucky, you'll get all of the classes you had. But if the class has a waiting list and you've been taken and put at the end of the waiting list, you may not get in that class. So it's available, but it is not the best option. Okay, so this webinar is going to be out on the website. Oh, did I record this? Oh, well. It's going to be out on the website. We do have this one from last year, I believe. The slides are almost the same. So you have the academic calendar, that's important. Fee payment, that's on the website. The fee payment confirmation, the steps are clear. International payments are there, cost of attendance. You can go, we have a whole page dedicated, how much does it cost, giving you the breakdown per semester. It gives you an example of what your tuition will be depending on your living arrangements. Those are very, very important. The registration guide is also on the website. It is a long document. It is complicated, and there's a lot of information that doesn't pertain to international students. But it does give you the important dates on when I register for my classes, when is my bill payment going to be due. And so that is important information. We put it kind of in a quick and dirty on this website. But we want to make sure that you know that all of this information is available on the website. If you need to, you can go and find it. As I said before, if you haven't played around and looked around at the website, do so because it's so much information. Questions, go to the website first. Can't find the answer, then you can come to us and we're happy to answer the question. But most of the questions are answered on the website on these key pages. So now we're going to go into budgeting and finances, and these are new to this webinar based on experiences our students have had when they've arrived at the United States. Some of it is simply not being aware. Some of it is not understanding that you're not at home, and the things that are true at home may not be true in the United States. So we have found in the past that some of our students come thinking my credit card's going to be fine. I can pay for everything by credit card. They get here either at the airport or here, they found that their credit card is now locked. Some of this is because you've suddenly used your credit card in a different country, and the credit card company thinks it may be fraud, and so they will lock your card. This can become complicated if the phone number and things are connected to that card are based on your phone in the home country, and that doesn't work in the United States. So we ask that you plan ahead and think that it's possible that my credit cards won't work when I get here. It has happened numerous times to our students. And so we're encouraging you to have some cash, US dollars, with you when you arrive. You can do this before you come. You can do it at an ATM at the airport. You can do it in numerous ways. That is up to you. You can try to make sure that your credit card will work at an ATM that you can pull cash from an ATM in the United States. When we travel, we generally travel with our debit card because from when I'm traveling, my credit card does not allow me to pull cash from an ATM at a convenience store. So I take my debit card. That allows me to pull cash in the currency wherever I am, and then I can use that cash while I'm there. So sometimes stores will not use a credit card. If it's a small just a small little shop, they may not use a credit card. That happens here in the United States too. The companies need to pay a credit card fee, and so some stores opt out of using credit cards, and you have to pay cash. So it's good to have both, but whatever you do, have a plan B. So if you get to the United States and your credit card isn't working, or suddenly it's been locked, what will I do? If you have a plan B and everything worked great, perfect, no problem. But if you get here and you have no idea what you're going to do if your credit cards don't work and you don't have a plan B, it can be very, very stressful. In those situations, our office cannot help because we cannot give you cash. We cannot help your credit card. We cannot do that for you. This is why we're giving you this information to make sure you know what you're going to do when you get here. Have a plan B. At the welcome event on the 19th of August, we will have a bank and their representatives are here at the event. This is the one bank that will allow you to create a student account with just your I-20. You do not need a Social Security number. This is why we invite them. They are very, very nice. They will help you, tell you where the bank is. It's about a 20-minute walk, maybe a mile or so from the campus. Going there is downhill, coming home is uphill, just so you know. But you can go in person if you'd like to. You can either talk to them at the bank at the event. You can go to the bank if you're here early enough. But either way, depending on when you arrive, if you arrive and you don't plan to get to the bank for a week or two, make sure you have another way of using money, taking care of yourself, getting food. If you're staying in a hotel, you can pay for the hotel. You need to have another plan in case things don't go as you hoped they would. But the bank will be there on the 19th, and they can help you make arrangements for a bank account. So again, budgeting and financing. When you're traveling, and some of this is common knowledge. I just put it in here because I wanted to make sure at least I know that you know that I've told you. When you're traveling, don't keep your cash all in the same place. Have it in different areas. When I'm traveling, I have some bags, the Ziploc bags that I put it in, and I put it in different places, in my carry-on, in my backpack. I have it. I don't keep all my cash in one place. You can get one of these hidden pouches. They're highly recommended when you're traveling, both for men and women. Be aware of your surroundings. If you have cash, and you have a couple $100, don't open your wallet and take out all of your money and count it out. What I do is fold each bill individually, so I'm only pulling out one bill at a time when I'm traveling. So be aware of who may be watching you and who may be looking to see, you look like a tourist. Do you have money? Those kinds of things. We all do this, no matter where you go. Whatever country you're in, you have to be aware of your surroundings. If you don't need the cash for the day, lock it in your suitcase, leave it in the hotel, leave it in the hotel safe. I generally lock it in my suitcase, and then I have a cable that I can lock my suitcase to the desk or whatever's in the room. And so just the way I travel, try to carry small bills. You want a variety. You don't want to pull out if you have a $5 bill at McDonald's, you don't want to pull out a $100 bill. You want to be able to pull out a 5 or a 10. So be conscious of what you're doing and carry only what you need. Don't take all of the money with you all of the time because that is just inviting problems. All right. Everything else on campus, and again, this is based on experiences our students have had. Lock everything when you're on campus. Just lock it up. Always, I don't want you to be afraid, but you need to be careful. So at the rec center, they have lockers at the rec center. So your wallet, your street clothes go in the locker. Take a lock with you and lock up the locker. I hear you can even borrow one from the desk at the recreation center, but do not leave your things, your wallet, your books, your backpack in a locker that is not locked up and protected. Don't leave your books, your bag unattended. If you are in the library and studying, take your bag with you. Maybe somebody wants your books, but they might want your bag if your wallet and things are in there. Take them with you when you leave. Be cautious, be careful, and be smart. So most of the time, if you're cautious, if you're not believing everything someone tells you, and this is just, what we've all learned. We've had experiences with students receiving an email asking for money. They might say that your visa status depends on how much money you pay. And here's what I need you to do, and here's where you need to send the money, or give me your credit card, or whatever they try to do. Hang up the phone if you're on the phone, because the US government will never ask for money to prevent your visa from being revoked or you being deported. It simply will not happen. If this happens, you always call our office before you do anything. Call and come and talk to us. Always, always, always. The email, ITD has a special email that you can report fraud or phishing. And phishing is when they're trying to get information from you. They might ask for your bank account number. They might say, your mother's in trouble. They could, any number of reasons to get money from you. And so again, don't answer it. Report it to the email that ITD has set up for fraud. And again, let us know. If you're ever questioning if something is real or not real, let us know. There are emails that go around to say you can make $500 a week by assisting somebody. No, you can't do that. Kind of the guideline, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. And they are, again, they're going to ask you information. At some point, they're going to want your banking or your credit card information. So if you're not sure, send it to us. We will say, nope, don't do it. It's not legit. And that is not real employment. So all of these things have happened in the past. And we always want to learn from our experiences. And so we're sharing information with you that you can also learn from these experiences. But we don't want to scare you. We don't want you to stay away. We want you to be safe, have fun, and make good choices. And probably number 3 is the most important, make good choices. When I'm traveling, if I'm not 100% comfortable where I am, then I don't go out. I will maybe just go to dinner or lunch, but I stay close to the hotel where I know I'm going to be safe. When I'm visiting agents, I will get a taxi or a driver from the hotel who's been vetted. So making good choices, making sure that you are thinking and being aware of, is this safe? Is this a good idea? Is this not a good idea? Does this seem legitimate? Does this seem too good to be true? Just think first and make good choices. Okay, our upcoming webinars, of course, today is July 1st, the bill paying and budgeting webinar. Our next one will be July 10th, the visa interview. Ms. Toy will lead you in that. The Next Steps webinar is for July 15th. And if you are an undergraduate or a graduate student, this one is very important to get you started on New Blue orientation and how am I going to do my placement test and all of the things. The vaccinations are going to be covered. That one is very, very important. If you have a visa interview coming up, you don't want to miss the one on July 10th with Ms. Toy. Miss Victoria, Miss Felicia will lead you. I think Brian also gets in on that, on the Next Step webinar. And then the international orientation, this is required for all F1 students. There are 2. There's one in July, one in August. But right now, all of you have a hold on your account that says you must attend one of these 2 webinars, either this one in July or the one in August during orientation week. If you don't, starting, I believe, probably on the 20th of August, you won't be able to do anything to your schedule. The reason this one particularly isn't important is we're going to talk about all of the rules that you need to follow as an F1 student. And these rules apply from day one to your last day on campus. So all 4 years, these rules apply. We expect you to understand and remember these things. And we expect you, if you have a question or you don't remember, to come and ask us. So 3 years in, if you say, "Oh, I don't remember that. I'm sorry," and so am I. But there's nothing we can do if your I-20 has expired. There is nothing we can do. So when we say it's important, we mean it's important. This is required. That's why the hold is there. And if you are responsible for all the information. So July 24th, make sure you have a notepad that you can take notes. Airport pickup, I'm sure you've heard this repeatedly. You've been receiving emails on these 2 dates. Hopefully, most of you have used the link to register and given us your flight information. The first one will be Saturday, August 16th. This is just before International Orientation Week. The second one is Sunday, August 24th. This is the day before classes start. So if you're coming in on the 24th, you're going to have a bit of a stressful week. If you come in on a day other than these 2 days and you're not able to join us on this airport pickup, then you can use Uber or Lyft or friends if you have friends or family in the area. Uber and Lyft is very, very easy to use at the Nashville airport. They have a dedicated area where you can go and pick up your Uber. It's very, very easy. It's maybe not even 10 minutes from the time you pick up your baggage. So that's also an option if you're not able to make one of these 2 dates. All right, so we're going to open it up to questions. And I am going to bring, wow, we've got a lot of questions already. Need to bring them over. So if I do that, okay, good. Want to make sure I'm not putting them on the screen. Okay. Great, thank you. Well, it's like not thinking 20 minutes in. Oh, I forgot to turn it on. Good morning. Will the dorms be available to live in during those holidays mentioned? The short holidays, I believe so. If you're staying over the winter holiday, I believe you're expected to move out. Now, they do have I believe they're changing the rule. We used to have one dedicated dorm that you stayed in when you were staying over the holidays, especially the winter holiday. That dorm is now being replaced and torn down for another dorm. And so it is offline, but I believe, especially for our exchange students, they do have alternative arrangements. But there may even be an additional fee. So if you have signed a contract with housing, read the contract. It will tell you in there if you are able to stay, if you want to stay, when you need to let them know, because there is a deadline of letting them know if you're going to stay in like on-campus housing. Okay. For tuition, how is it calculated and paid with the International Merit Scholarship? So when your tuition bill comes up, so tuition is based on the number of credit hours you have. And so if you go to MT One Stop on how much does it cost, it breaks down how much you're paying each credit hour. Remember, you're paying the out-of-state fees. Then you have to add, there's a program fee. There may be a college department fee. So basic and applied has a fee. The computer science department may have a fee. Each class may have a fee. So that's a guide. But when you get your tuition bill, you're going to see all of this come up. The International Merit Scholarship will not be applied to your tuition bill until, number one, you are full-time enrolled, so either 9 hours as a grad or 6 if you have a GA ship, 12 hours with an undergrad, and you have had your status as an F1 student, your visa has been verified. So sometimes that doesn't happen until after you've arrived. And if you are one of those who have been able to register early, then we're going to ask you to subtract the scholarship and pay that amount. So, but most of you, if you send us your visa, but when you get it, we can go ahead and verify you. And then so that scholarship will feed out. But two things need to happen: full-time enrollment, and we need to verify that you have a visa and that you are in the United States, because it only applies if you're in the United States, before we can credit the account with the International Merit Scholarship. I'm an international student. My orientation is on July 24th. Am I going to be able to register after that date? Yes, you will be able to register. So we do have an alternative plan for those of you who have not or are not able to attend any of the New Blue orientations that they have set up for the virtual sessions. Then when you arrive, we have an alternative plan to get you through that process and then get you connected to an advisor. So if you are worried about, I didn't get any New Blue orientations, can I register? Yes, you will be able to register. Just let us know. If you get your visa late and you haven't attended orientation, the New Blue orientation, let us know and we will walk you through the steps. Can we open an account at the bank before August 19th? Yes, if you're in the country, please do. That will make your life a lot easier. Having received an assistantship and a tuition waiver, we're supposed to pay. That is, so if you have an assistantship and you're in the country, then that will already be on your account and it should be reflected in your tuition bill. If there's anything extra, which there shouldn't be unless you're on campus, then maybe if you got a parking ticket, that'll be on your bill. Graduate assistantships won't pay for that kind of stuff. So there shouldn't be much on, but that's going to be reflected in your tuition bill after you're here and you are registered for classes. So apart from Flywire and Pay My Tuition platforms for payment, other options, there are, I think you can do a wire transfer and I think we do a bank-to-bank transfer. Those you're going to want to arrange with the business office directly. They generally do not give that information out for a bank-to-bank transfer or wire transfer, but contact the business office, the bursar's office, if you want to take that route. Contact them directly because they will walk you through the steps to do that. Is the international orientation on July 24th virtual? Yes, it is virtual. It would be the same platform by Zoom. You should have already gotten an invitation, the link, because we've been sending these out repeatedly throughout the summer, and all of the links are on that one schedule that you received early on, but then reminders are coming out all the time. Is New to Blue orientation mandatory for registration? Yes, for undergraduate students, it is mandatory. You must watch and participate in New Blue orientation. If the last virtual session is passed and you haven't been able to attend, that's when you're going to reach out to our office and we have an alternative plan to get you through that step so you can meet with your advisor. If I register my classes before August 11th, how can I apply to pay my tuition? Through your pipeline. So if you go into your pipeline, as soon as the bills are released, you should be able to go in and see if you have the ability. If your bill is reflected in pipeline, then you should be able to register for the installment plan. If you have a graduate teaching assistantship, you may want to balance, if that covers, you may not have a bill for your tuition, only for housing and other incidentals that come up on your bill from MTSU. But everything will be in pipeline. That's why you really need to get to know pipeline. And what you're not sure of, again, go through the steps on the installment plan. The homepage on the website goes through all of the steps, what you can do, what you can't do. It also talks about all the rules. If you don't make a payment, that you will not be able to register. So take the time to go through that page before you sign up so you're fully aware of what you're signing up for. Should I register for courses even though I haven't gotten a visa appointment? You can if you are, yes, I would say Yes, because what you want to do if you do get the visa, then you already have your class, your spot in the class. If you wait, you may not get that spot, depending on how much of a demand there is for that class. If you don't get the visa appointment and you don't pay the tuition, as I said, your schedule will be purged, and it's not a problem. When is the move-in date for on-campus housing? It's on the website. I don't have the date. I'm not even sure they've been announced. But keep monitoring the website. And if you register for on-campus, you should be getting an email from them. But look at the homepage of the housing, and they will have all of the dates: the move-in date, the move-out date, the deadline for letting them know if you're staying over winter break. They're all on that calendar. I think I saw something on Facebook that hasn't been published yet. But keep checking every day. It will be out there soon. Good morning. Will the dorms be available to live in during the holidays mentioned? I believe so. If you're a graduate, if you're an exchange student, definitely. But you will need to let housing know that you want to stay in the dorm over the winter break. If you don't let them know, if you miss that email, then they won't put you on the list and you will not have a spot. So this is where we said emails. It's important to make sure that you're reading your emails. In the past, we had a student miss that email, and then he had more difficulty trying to find a place short term for the winter break, because apartment complexes don't generally rent for 3 months. You're either a 9-month or 12-month lease. So make sure that you're aware of what you need and what you're responsible for. I think I did the Merit Scholarship one already. What about after obtaining a GA-ship to cover the tuition with the International Merit Scholarship? So if you have a GA position, you do not get the International Merit Scholarship. You cannot have both. And so the GA-ship, what it's going to do is put a code on your account that will just take away the scholarship, because we do not allow you to have both. And that answers the next question, complementing each other. So does the payment plan also apply to housing? I believe so. And whatever's on your tuition bill, I believe it's covered. But again, read the website. I want to know if I can start to register for classes now, or must I wait? You must wait for New Blue orientation. You must have New Blue orientation completed. You must have, if you're an undergraduate, all right? If you're an undergraduate student, 2 things need to be done: your New Blue orientation and the placement test, or SAT scores submitted and arrived. Then we can waive the placement test, and then you do New Blue orientation, finish that. Then you're able to meet with your advisor. But New Blue orientation and meeting with your advisor are often happening at the same time. And so that's why you do New Blue orientation, and then they can contact your advisor, and their advisor sets up an appointment with you. But you need to be available. If you go back to what we talked about in our next step, you need to be available the entire day, not just your time zone, but the times are set in Tennessee time and Central time. And so if you have an appointment with your advisor at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday, then you need to figure out what time is it in my country, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be set Tennessee time. Okay, so I'm a bit confused about the placement test. There's an English survey, also a placement test. Does the placement test include both math and English questions, or is it focused on math? So the placement test is reading and math. The English survey is English. So reading in English, yes, but when we teach when we teach history here, it's combined with the reading class. And so you're reading American history. That's really, really difficult to do if you didn't grow up in America. And even if you did, it's hard to do. So the reading level is important, that we're not just taking your English score. The English score, number one, you had an English proficiency test. We know you are proficient in English. This is to set you, the English survey has, the English department has several levels of English that you can take. So if your English is kind of weak, then they're going to put you in one of the lower levels so you can get better, better, and better before you're expected to take that big English class that all American students need to take. So placement test is reading and math. And if you go to the website on the University College, when they talk about placement, there is a link that gives you example of some of the math questions. And so it's focused on algebra. Okay, Brian's been putting things in there. Thank you. I would like to know if I can waive the placement test using my SAT scores. Yes, you can. A lot of students have been telling us they've submitted their SAT scores, but do know that when you ask the College Board to send your SAT scores, it may take a week or so before we get them uploaded into the system and matched up with your application. The other thing that sometimes slows things down is if the name that you used on your application and the name you used with your SAT scores is not exactly the same, then it won't automatically be linked to your application. And so that will also take time. And somebody has to go and manually match the scores with the student. And so if it was different, probably good to let us know. I'm sorry, this is the name I used on my SAT. I used my nickname, but on my application, I use my full passport name. That helps us to know if we need to go and start searching. But we need to see the SAT scores in your account on your application before we can waive the placement test. So give us a week or two to get that processed. Okay, suppose we were three close friends who want to attend the same classes. However, since the class placement is based on, if you, you're going to be placed in the classes depending on your level. That's just, so if you're thinking you want to take all of your classes the same, and all three of you, I'm probably saying that's going to be difficult to do. You will be placed with your math and your reading and your English according to the level that you had on the test, not according to friends. Maybe you'll be in the same friend in the class. There are limited English sections, classes for each level. It depends on the incoming freshman class and how many internationals we have as to how many classes they have at each level. So maybe you'll be lucky, get in the same class, no guarantee. There's no way to even make sure that you will get in the same class. And sometimes you make more friends if you spread out and separate. Okay, any other questions? Yeah, there is no minimum SAT score. So the SAT, even the placement test is not a pass-fail test. It is a test to put you at the proper level of your reading and your math and English for the English survey. It's not pass-fail. And if you get a low score on the SAT, it doesn't mean that we're going to say, oh, sorry, you got to take the placement test anyhow. What we use is that SAT score. We use that to place you in the level that you would be in. That's the level for you. We don't want you stressed out because the class is too difficult. We don't want you stressed because the class is too easy. And so we take your SAT scores or we take the placement test scores and we put you at that level. So we're sure that you can comfortably handle that class. Yes, you will be challenged, but we don't want you stressed to where you fail that class. We want you to succeed. But there is no pass-fail on the placement test. There's no minimum score for the SAT. If you're taking the placement test, don't spend weeks studying for it. It will probably hurt you in the end because we want an honest account of what you're able to do when you're here. So when you come, you are dealing with a different language, most of you. You're dealing with a different culture. You may have visited America, but visiting and living is way different. You're dealing with different food. You're missing your family. You have homesickness. You have a lot of things happening at the same time. What you don't want is to have to struggle in every single class. So we do try to make sure that the classes you're taking your first semester, you're able to handle. That's why we suggest to recommend 12 hours, 13. Try not to go over that because that is a lot for one semester on your first semester when you're dealing with all this other stuff that you may not think about, you may not realize until you're here. And we did a workshop on culture shock, and so it's a real thing. Yeah, you right now, comfortable in your home country, you may not feel it, but having lived abroad, I'm telling you, culture shock is real and it takes years to get over it. So give yourself a bit of a break. And if you're feeling stressed, we have a counseling center that is very, very good at dealing with culture shock and homesickness and stress that comes with living in a foreign country. All right. No more questions. Thank you. You guys got really, really good questions. Again, this webinar will be out on the website. And so if you need to refer to it again later on, please do that because it is really an important webinar for bill paying. And so you know what to do. We're also putting PDFs out there on the website of all of our presentations so you can download the PDF and review some of the information without listening to the entire webinar if you want to do that as well. Okay. Yeah, the official score is required. So what you do is go into your, sorry, the question is the official score required or can we just send our SAT board account password? We don't want your password. We want you to go in and request that the College Board releases your results to MTSU. We don't want your password. We try not to get into that. That's your information. We need you to send it to us and request that the scores are released to us. They come in, hundreds of scores come in at one time. And so then we have to manually match them up with a student. That's why it takes some time for us to do that process. But we need you to request the scores be sent to us so they come in as a tape and we can match them to the application. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the patience. It's been an hour. And so we are looking forward to seeing you. As always, if you have questions, please let us know. Come to us rather than going to friends, and we will guide you through this process. It can be complicated, it can be confusing, but we are here to make sure it's as easy as possible for all of you, regardless of your level, transfer, freshmen, exchange students. Please let us know when you have questions and concerns. This is what we're here for. All right, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week for the visa interview webinar. Thank you all.